Ms. Santoni, it's going to be up to you to provide proof to me that the defendant, Mr. Crumes, defaulted in the terms of his lease by not paying rent, and that he did not comply with your notice to vacate, and that you did everything you were legally supposed to do, which means follow the property code. Uh, Afterwards, once you're through, Mr. Santoni, I'm going to give you, Mr. Crumes, the opportunity to defend yourself. It's going to be up to you to provide proof to me that you should not be evicted based on a complaint. When I say a complaint, they filed a petition, which is a sworn complaint. It's going to be up to you to provide proof to me that you should not be evicted based on the complaint that's filed. The landlord indicated that you defaulted in your lease agreement by not paying rent for the months of September, October, November, December, and January. And at the time they filed the case, they swore to me that you owed $4,575. And so it's going to be up to you to provide proof to me that you don't owe this amount of money and that you should not be evicted. I do understand that you paid some money uh, after the fact. I just want to make sure that you have a good understanding is that's the reason why you're here to prove your defense, that you should not be evicted based on the complaint. So while you're speaking, I'm going to ask that you, Ms. Santoni, don't interrupt him because I want to make sure I hear him in his defense without any interruptions. Okay, Ms. Santoni?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do we have any questions before we proceed on with today's?
No.
All right.
So Xavier had a lease with us prior, and he transferred to this unit 1216. When he had transferred in August, he did make an original payment of $980, and after that we got nothing. We had talked to him several times. He had explained that his parents were going to help pay, and then another time I think that my leasing agent was told that the Army was going to help pay. I was specifically told in the office that he was going to get a loan and he was working on it getting transferred. And that's when we ended up getting these payments of the 700, 765, and 600, which totaled the 2,065. So that was just recently. I told him if he could bring me the 4,575, which his balance is higher than that, but that's just the rent. So if he was to bring that in, then I would hold off on the eviction. But he was only able to bring in the $2,000 a couple of days ago. He still said he was going to bring in more this morning, but I think he said that he wasn't able to make it in time.
Okay.
His lease is supposed to be through July of 2026 of this year.
In the terms of his, what did he, the apartment complex, agree on? For
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
what was the monthly, according to
His monthly rent for this one, sorry, is $915 a month.
Okay, so he transferred, whenever he transferred from the old unit to this one, I assume he had a zero balance. That's what made him transfer. But you said he made a payment of $900 something, but he
That was to move in.
yeah, he more than likely had a zero balance whenever he transferred to the.
Correct.
Clean slate starting in September, but you're telling me that he didn't make any payments towards that until on the 27th of this month, which still didn't get him to where he needed to be.
Yes.
All right. Notice to vacate. How was it delivered to the tenant? When was it delivered? And who actually delivered it?
Chelsea, my assistant manager, delivered that in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to your petition, you stated that it on the inside of the main door entry.
It was taped inside the bedroom door, yes.
Notice to vacate looks like it was printed on December 1st, but it wasn't delivered until the 11th. Is that right?
That is true. He had promised to pay, and so we were waiting on that payment, and then he didn't, so we went ahead and delivered and gave him from the 12th.
And so he made a payment on the 27th of how much totally?
$2,065.
Which still leaves him a balance of how much? That's what, 2,000?
2510
And again, this doesn't include late fees, utilities.
does not include late fees or utilities. No, sir.
Anything else before I move on to?
No, sir.
Mr. Crumes, you heard the case against you. Here's your opportunity.
What was the last part, sir?
You've heard the case that's been stated against you. Here's your opportunity to defend.
Okay. So yes, so before I moved into this apartment, I was currently in a 1 bedroom in the same unit. We're different building, but that was being held up by my parents. So all my parents are military, but I was currently using Chapter 35, which I used until this upcoming semester. So because we switched over to a different apartment and there was a whole situation with the last apartment and then the signing of this lease, because of the person who gave me the lease and then them not working for them anymore, somehow my parents did not end up being a guarantor, which was originally my father beforehand. So that was something that kind of messed up the process. And also we not using Chapter 35, which gave me benefits from the military to pay for housing. I'm now using post 9/11, which is strictly for like books and then of course mainly school. I made an agreement with my father that he would pay for a portion of the housing and then also I would have to work and then pay for the rest because solely by myself would be a little bit hard to manage. But I found out September that one, my dad wasn't on it, and then found out later again. But then there was a couple maintenance orders like missing blinds and stuff that my parents wanted to get solved, and they ended up refusing to kind of pay for anything because they were like, this doesn't make sense for it not to be completed. And we just switched over from a different apartment. So I told them that I would talk to them, put it in a work order, and then get it solved. Remember that conversation being brought up twice. There was 2 work orders, which I do not have. And then they ended up telling me that I needed one solve the situation because they refused to pay for an apartment that they didn't think was completed, or I would basically have to either find a different place to live in. The problem ended up getting swept under the rug because I never mentioned it again to them. And then again, it just never got solved. So I ended up having to, again, now kind of find out from the notice that rent hadn't been paid because I was so focused on school. And so I ended up telling them, I was like, hey, I can come up with the money. I can ask for a loan because my parents have just refused to pay for it, and bring it up to them kind of caused more of a problem. So I ended up taking out a loan and also taking out some certificate money that I've been saving. And so as of recently, I've been taking out that certificate money from HEB. No, yesterday was supposed to take out the last 3,000, I believe. But because of the amount that HEB is allowed to take out, I couldn't take out 3,000. And then I ended up taking out 1,000, gonna bring it back, and then it was end up closing. I believe Miss Chelsea was supposed to be there, but she wasn't end up being there. So I ended up having the last 2 money orders, but I'm just not able to give it to them because of course today was the last day. And then of course it was supposed to be paid earlier this week, like me and Miss Stephanie had talked about. But during the storm, I was inside, wasn't out, and then yep, here we are. But the main reason why none of the money has been paid because my father just refuses because of the refrigerator. It's mostly the refrigerator. I haven't had a refrigerator for a while. He says that there is a state code which he sent me, apparently saying that if something like that, an appliance is not fixed, you have the right to terminate the lease. But one, me and my father haven't talked about the situation for a very long time, and then 2, kind of switching apartments midway throughout the school semester and finding something that's affordable that I still have to pay for is kind of hard. So I ended up taking money out, but of course, as of today, the court hearing was today, and still do not have the full money paid. So, yeah. So I was supposed to have everything in full, but because of the court hearing, wasn't able to do it. So
We have a classic case of independence.
yeah, it's not good.
Not proper, but without the acceptance of good guidance. Give me 1 second. So you move from one unit to this one. Why did you uh move from the old unit to this one? Just out of curiosity.
So the old unit was fine. When I originally moved in there, it was perfect. But during the last couple months, mold had developed really, really badly. Should have probably a lot of pictures for that one. But it was all up on my ceilings, and then it was also in my room. And then inside of my room, there was a crack by the ceiling of the window that stretched from the top pretty much almost to the bottom where water would leak in. So anytime water or rain would come through, it would leak in pretty much enough to where it would be stains on the ceilings and on the walls. So because of the mold, really, that was really forced me out. And because of the repairs and the time that would take for them to fix it, they had to basically switch me to a different apartment, which led me to here.
They accommodated the lease by moving you to a separate unit. But during that transition, your father wasn't listed as a guarantor on this. Therefore, I guess the VA, the military wasn't paying for it because he wasn't listed as a guarantor. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So I was supposed to move into, I guess, another one bedroom. I'm in two right now. I was supposed to move into another one bedroom. I had pretty much almost signed off. I don't believe I actually signed any papers, but I basically signed, oh my gosh, what is it called? Well, I basically confirmed that I was going to a different apartment. And then the old employment or the old employee that was there ended up leaving. And then during moving day, I kind of found out that the place that was promised was given to someone else. And so, during all of that, when I actually signed for this place, my father was actually not on the guarantor. So he never actually signed off.
And your father is going to be reluctant to make any payments because he feels like they should do what they're doing. But apparently, he's wanting you to break the lease. You don't want to break the lease.
Yes, sir.
Help you out by making payments, finding you somewhere.
So, yep. So, yes. So when he came down here, he again looked at the other place. He was like, all right, this is where we signed off at. So once he realized that I got put into it too, he was like, that's not what we talked about. I came there, this and that and the fourth, and I was like, I understand. He kind of was like, all right, cool. Well, as long as everything's fine, then we'll go with it. But I do have to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure my father did not realize that he had not signed off as a guarantor. And then even with VA, yes, it has to go through VA, and VA has to confirm to pay for it.
Here's the thing. We're in court now, right? I cannot force Miss Santoni to take your money. Now, Miss Santoni wants to give you a little more time to get caught up. If she thinks you're a good tenant and you're a man of your word, if she wants to give you a little more time to get caught up on your rent, that is a private conversation that y'all can have right now with me not even being present. So what that is I can put you in a breakout room. And if Miss Santoni wants to work with you, y'all can talk about how you can resolve the rent issue. And I can reset the case for so many days to see if y'all's agreement can come to fruition. But I cannot force Ms. Santoni to do anything. So I'll start with you, Ms. Santoni. I know that you are the property manager, but some property managers, only can do so much. Would you like to meet with this young man privately in a breakout room to discuss this situation that he's in, or would you like to continue on with this eviction suit?
We can have that private discussion.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of you in a breakout room. All right. That's where y'all can talk privately. Y'all can talk for maybe about 5 minutes or so. Whenever you're through, just come back into the hearing. And then at that time, I'm going to ask you, Ms. Santoni, how would you like to proceed? If you want to give him more time, we can, both of y'all can agree upon a date that we could, give you that you would agree upon. Or if you want to proceed on, we'll proceed on. Okay. And so just wait 1 second. Both of you are going to get invitations to join a breakout room.
So he says he has a money order right now for 1,000 and he can bring me the rest by the end of the day. He's just got to be able to go. He has to take trips to do it. I guess different withdrawals. So as long as he's got the balance, covered by the end of the day and
Well,
rent
this is
is paid on time next month, we should be fine.
what we can do. So one thing we can do is you and Mr. Crumes have a time frame for him to complete you all's agreement.
Mhm.
We can reset the case.
Okay.
Many days. The maximum I can go is 7 days. But if you all agree to a longer time frame, that's going to be a date that you would have to agree to. So are you okay with 7 days from today's date, just resetting it? And then if everything's good to go, you can send me a letter saying, hey, Judge, he's done what we needed to do. I don't need no need to go to court. That's kind of how it goes. Or
Okay.
if he doesn't do it, then both of you will be back here in 7 days. You can finish out your case. That's kind of how it goes.
Okay, that works. We can do that.
All right. So what we'll do is we're going to reset the case for 7 days. My court clerks hate it when I do that. So I'm just going to look on the calendar, see what I have available, and then I'll hash it out with you. Give me 1 second. Looking at the schedule, I can looks like February 3rd at 3:30. I have that available. Is that okay with both of you? Good date?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to reset this hearing to February 3rd, 3:30. And if both of you come to, everything's good to go, Miss Santoni, just send me an email saying, hey, Judge, he's done what we needed to do, and I want to dismiss the case. If not, I'm expecting both of you back here so we can complete the case. All right?
Okay, sounds good.
Crumes, you can excuse this hearing. You can go back to school or whatever you need to do. All right. And Miss Santoni, you have another case.
Yes.
Am I able to get a an absence notice? Bailey was kind of brutal with the whole missing school.
You can just give them a copy of the hearing.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right.
All right.